achieve. Okay, so first thing, as we obviously discussed, was obviously the setup changes we're going to make. You're a lot more kind of weight balance to sort of the middle part of your feet. Years and years ago, you, like me and other kids back in that era, were taught kind of get on the balls of your feet like a goalkeeper and get yourself in a springy so you can move around. Well, that's great for being a goalkeeper when you're diving different corners, but not really ideal when you're trying screwing yourself into the ground with your body rotation. Yeah, if you're sort of springing forward, it's very hard to turn into that right heel. So as you went back on the takeaway now, you got to sort of halfway back here now. Your legs have slid because of it, and this is the sort of move you're going to see now. That sort of tipping over the top now. So you see the club now coming through sort of right shoulder area, quite steep there through your sort of chest, and this club never really sort of gets anywhere near that right foot. Already lost your angle now in your wrist, okay? And then your arm's quite a long way from the body, way outside, catching the hosel, and then you either shank it, top it from the middle of the hosel, or hit it over here somewhere. Yeah, exactly. So the middle part of the club is nowhere near where I want to get to. So if we look at those sort of checkpoints as you're coming back down and compare it to this, where I say just being more weight in the heels and a little bit more with your shoulders, like I say, over your toes there at address. Slight twigger grip as we've done, obviously, okay? Up the top of the backswing here now, turning into that right heel. Look at the difference in your club coming back down now underneath your right shoulder. So we sort of put your hands level with your chest here now, the difference in the two positions there where the club shaft's a lot shallower. It's still a slightly steep. Your hands are nearer.
Just coming across my body.
Exactly. Yeah. So as the club then comes back down now, the club now sort of coming through your right forearm here. Still got a bit of angle in your wrist there, okay? This one here now, the club's like more in front of you and coming way out in front. There's a lot of spacing here now. See as the club comes back in where your hands are relative to your body here. Mm-hmm. So the hands are a lot more connected, is the term you use yourself. Hands under your shoulder. The feeling of towing it. There's the strike of the golf ball when you felt your toe in it. If that's the shaft there, it's basically the middle of the golf club, yeah? Whereas this one here now, when you're hitting the golf ball, you see where the shaft is there. He's going to be hosling that all day. And there's the shaft, you're going to catch the hosel, he's off to the right there, okay? And then your balance as a result of that is going to be sort of affected because you're not making a decent strike. So as you come through here now, decent turn, your follow through is actually pretty good because there's a decent sort of movement there. It's just the fact that when you get to that impact before, it's very hard to sort of feel good with that thing. Your weight's going to be, say your left foot sort of on its toe here now, the old Scotty Scheffler-esque type foot movement. That just is indicating that all your weight now is on your toes impact. So when you try and pivot, your left heel spins out of the way because the weight's gone. I mean, and again, from an ankle perspective, that's going to be painful if you're not careful. Whereas at least this one now turning into your left heel, look at your footwork there. That looks a lot more kind of healthy from my regard. Your lower half's got some sort of base to swing with from under.
Even just the takeaway as well, like up to the top of the backswing.
Yeah,
actually, I mean, this is going to sound really silly. It looks much more dynamic there.
I mean, I think all you're doing now, and again, as a swing thought, just swing into your right heel. Yeah, just turn into the right heel. You're getting the club to a decent spot at the top of the back. So there's again a slight over the top compared to where you went back, but that's not going to go from where it was to click your fingers, and it's suddenly shallowing, sort of McIlroy, Jason Taylor, we used days in esque. But at least you're getting the club now into a shallower position. And the feeling of you striking what we said was the toe part of the club is the middle. Now, over time, that will revert back to the middle, feeling like the middle. But at the moment, what feels the middle is basically the heel, So you either shank, middle hosel, top it, or just hit it way left,
Yeah.
So we can get a few swings there. Like I say, from a practice perspective, you're on the golf course. Set up, if we're doing some practice swings next to your mate, set up to something on the ground, a leaf or a tee or a flower or whatever, and then try to miss it on the inside, get that sense. And more so, the feel of you doing that actually creates you from sort of up the top here now, trying to hit something on the inside. You're going to want to bring everything in here, It makes sense to do. You're not going to want to start going over there. But a lot of that, I think, with the grip change you made there being a bit more diagonal across the fingers, so your thumbs to the side rather than the old long thumb, that's going to help square the club face up. And once the club now is in a good position, say top of the back, and your club gets in a pretty darn good spot there in terms of left arm and leading edge, they want to be parallel. So we've got that pretty much spot on.
I've not seen my swing properly like this in a while, but that's a better club hedge position.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, I would say. I mean, arguably there's still a little bit of slide outwards with that foot, but that's going to take a bit of practice. Like I said, doing that sort of drill where you lift the foot or do it up against the wall so you don't slide into the wall. For me, it's all about doing little and often. So if you could do 2 to 3 minutes a day up against a wall or somewhere in the kitchen or wherever, maybe just getting that sensation of what that foot does. If you do that 20, 30, 40 times a minute, and do it for 2 or 3 minutes, you've got I don't know, 150, 120 movements a day. Do that for a week, you got 700 plus. You do it for you go over 1,500. By a month, you got 3,000 moves just doing that for 3 minutes in your house every day. So you can suddenly start creating a bit of muscle memory of, okay, what does it feel like for my hip to do that? At the moment, it's still a bit of a work in progress. Go, hang on, how does my hip do that? And if while you're swinging, you're thinking about it, not going to be as dynamic or not going to be as effective as you want. I think when you're playing rugby, I mean, if you had to think, okay, I've got the ball now, what do I do? Someone's taking you out and the ball's getting taken over, so
it's taking the...
Exactly, right hip gets out of the way. So if you do it properly, your right toe will be able to do that kind of lifting into that right heel. Because exactly.
I feel pull it, but I meant to be able to pull a bit.
But again, you're probably using muscles and ligaments and joints you haven't used for a while because you've been sort of on the toes and sliding.
8 hours of my day sat down at a desk, or 8 hours a day, like generally in a suit, running around after people.
Exactly,
So
for me, it's fine. No, that's what I'm saying. So what you want to then... do you work from home or in an office then, Okay, so from people from lockdown have told me when they work from home, they have like a 2 hour or 3 hours every sort of so they always try and stand up and do like their 15-minute movement or whatever. So when you get a chance to do it, if you do it for 2 minutes, even if you, I mean, sometimes you have a sort of stand up, whatever, just get there and just try and implement. Okay, right, I've got 2 minutes now and do this now for 2 minutes, sort of quite intently, should we say, and get a good movement there, get that feel. Or, and as daft as it may sound, I often tell people when they're doing these sort of movements, twice a day when you're brushing your teeth. You stood still, just get that movement there. If you haven't got time between your work, there's always time we can find a couple of days there just to get that feel. Once that feel becomes sort of second nature, then when you're on the golf course now, you can focus on hitting the ball with the correct part of the club rather than going, what's my hip doing now? And where's the ball gone? Don't have too many things to think about. Okay, make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Good stuff. Let's have a couple more then, Craig, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, mate?